Well, good afternoon and many thanks for joining us. This is News Analysis coming to you live on Politics and Business Television, Abuja. My name is Bulus Joanna. The top stories. Mayday push, Labour demands wage review to ease cost of living crisis. 3 judges suspended as NJC voids Imo acting CJ's appointment. Nigeria to host 4th AU MSME Forum in June. CBEX resumes operations despite SEC ban and 1.2 trillion naira AFCC probe. And on the foreign scene, the UK speaks on Britain arrested in Nigeria for arms deal. Details coming up shortly. Stay with us. Well, state chapters of the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress have decried the condition of the Nigerian worker and called for the urgent review of the 70,000 naira minimum wage as the country celebrates the 2025 May Day today. This comes just as Senate President Godswill Akpabio said the legislative and executive arms of government will not shrink their responsibility to work together to address workers' concerns and create opportunities for growth and prosperity. However, organized labor leaders across the country said workers were worse off since they marched to President Bola Tinubu, despite his assurances that he would not only pay the workers the minimum wage, but a living wage. Following Tinubu's removal of the petrol subsidy on May 29, 2023, in his inaugural speech to the nation and the devaluation of the naira, the cost of living has been astronomical, forcing labor unions and the populace to embark on several protests. Meanwhile, the National Judicial Council has declared the appointment of Justice Theophilus Nzioku as Acting Chief Justice of Imo State void, directing the Governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodinma, to immediately reverse the decision and appoints the most senior judicial officer in the state in line with the provisions of the 1999 Constitution. The decision was part of the resolutions taken at the NJC's 108th meeting held on April 29th and 30th, 2025, under the chairmanship of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekere-Okun. In a statement released by the Council's Deputy Director of Information, Kemi Ogenedegbe Babalola, the agency directed the Imo State Governor, Senator Hope Uzodinma, to appoint the most senior officer, the most senior judicial officer in the state's High Court's hierarchy, as the acting Chief Judge of the state in conformity with the Section 271, subsection 4 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has approved the composition of an oversight committee to organize Nigeria's hosting of the 4th African Union Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Forum, scheduled to hold between June 23rd and 27th in Abuja. This was revealed by Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications, Office of the Vice President Stanley Nwokocha in Abuja on Wednesday. The theme of the 2025 edition of the forum is Building Resilient MSMEs through Digital Innovation, Market Access and Affordable Financing for Africa. And according to him, the committee will, among other objectives, ensure adequate planning for the successful hosting of the forum, which will feature paper presentations, panel discussions, sponsored side events, exhibitions and networking, and MSME business pitching events and presentation of prizes to deserving Nigerian entrepreneurs. Non-business matters, despite the alleged 1.2 trillion naira digital trading fraud that reportedly affected over 600,000 Nigerians, that the embattled crypto bridge exchange trading platform accused of these acts has resumed operations, announcing fresh withdrawal options in a move to restore investor confidence. According to the sources, an insurance verification process and an external audit of the company's financial records are currently underway to ascertain the actual amount lost in the scheme, which collapsed in April. They added that the existing investors, many of whom have been unable to access their funds for weeks, will be able to take out their funds starting from June 25, 2025, when the audit is expected to be concluded by an insurance firm based in the United Kingdom. But this development comes barely weeks after the Securities and Exchange Commission declared the platform illegal, and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission confirmed an ongoing investigation into the firm's operation. Well, you're still watching news analysis live on Politics and Business Television. We'll go on a short break and more news when we return. Welcome back, and now to foreign news. The British High Commission on Wednesday refuted claims circulating in the media that a 7-member of the United Kingdom Armed Forces is involved in an alleged illegal arms procurement operation in Nigeria. In an official statement released by the Commission, a spokesperson for the High Commission clarified that the individual identified in recent reports is not currently serving in the UK military. Further information provided by the Commission revealed that the individual previously served as a junior rank in the UK Armed Forces Reserves and has since been discharged. It was also confirmed that the person held no commissioned officer status during their time in service. While citing obligations under the common law and the UK's Data Protection Act, the Commission stated that it cannot release additional personnel details regarding the current or former personnel. And for sports updates, let's join Tom Aroko.
Good day, welcome to P&B Sports News. I'm Aroko Tom. Let's dive into the latest sports update. In the Champions League, Barcelona and Inter Milan played out a thrilling 3-3 draw in the first leg of their semi-final match, with Lamine Yamal inspiring Barcelona's comeback and being the youngest player to score in the Champions League semi-finals, while Marcus Thuram scored the fastest goal in the Champions League with just 30 seconds. Over to England. Marcus Rashford is expected to leave the club at the end of the season, but his next destination is far from certain. Manchester United are also exploring a deal for Jonathan Tah on a potential free transfer, while Sandro Tonali is determined to stay at Newcastle United to repay manager Eddie Howe and the club for their support during his gambling ban. Ronnie O'Sullivan has indeed reached the semi-finals of the World Snooker Championship for a record 14th time. He secured his spot by defeating China's Si Juai in 13-9 in a quarter-final match at the Crucible in Old Sheffield. O'Sullivan took advantage of Si's unenforced errors, including a missing brow, to seal the win. The Mexican City Grand Prix will remain on the F1 calendar until 2028, as Stefano Domenicali, F1 president and CEO, expressed excitement about the extension, praising the event's energy, passion, and emotion. He thanked the government of Mexico City, local stakeholders, and Alejandro Soberon Curi for their support. That's all for P&B Sports News. I'm Aroko Tom.
And now we'll go on a short break, and when we return, we'll dive into the focus of the day. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Politics and Business Television Abuja, and now to the focus of the day. Labor Day. Today is Workers' Day, otherwise called May Day, and it is set aside to celebrate workers' contributions to the nation's economy. This year's celebration, themed Reclaiming the Civic Space in the Midst of Economic Hardship, will be observed across 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. But this year's event comes amid the ballooning living cost and a shrinking economy. Since the floating of the Naira and the removal of full subsidy by the President Bola Tinubu's administration, the cost of living has more than doubled, leading to a push for a new minimum wage. Despite promises of reforms, improved welfare, and working conditions for workers, millions of workers continue to face unsafe conditions, mass layoffs and low wages, among other issues. While President Tinubu approved 70,000 Naira as the new minimum wage after months of negotiations with labor unions, that move, which was made to cushion the impacts of the government's reforms and rising living costs, is yet to be implemented by several states. A civic organization, Budge It, said only 17 states have implemented the new minimum wage as of April 2025. Several private organizations are yet to start implementation, citing rising cost of operations. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the country's inflation rate is at 23.18% as of March 2025, and food inflation is at 40.01%, further worsening the living cost among workers and Nigerians alike. Well, despite this, the federal government says it is committed to bettering the welfare of Nigerian workers. Well, let's join our correspondent live at the Eagle Square, Abuja, for the celebration of the Workers' Day, El Amin Ibrahim.
We are here at Eagle Square today, May 1st, to witness workers coming from all walks of life in the country to celebrate the May Day. And today is a day that we are going to meet some of the workers to explain or to tell us about their experiences of how they are working or the conditions of working generally and the challenges they are facing. Follow me so that we can interview and talk with some of these workers on the challenges and also their expectations from government and what they want government to improve on.
An open secret, because when you look at the historical relevance of May Day, the May Day came about as a result of a market riots that took place in 1886, and it was as a result of agitations for a reasonable hour of work, which is 8 hours per working day, and which was resisted by the power that be then. And as a result, the power that be now mobilized security operatives to disperse workers. And in the process, crisis ensued, and so many things happened where many of our workers were killed. The plight of Nigerian workers are very prominent. When you look at it, it's a suffering-oriented life, where the economy has tested seriously on the plight of workers. And as a matter of fact, when you look at it from the angle of survivor, it's very unfortunate, because you talk about minimum wage of 70,000. At the time when our leaders were agreed to that amount, there was a condition, or there were conditions attached to it. Part of it was that there would be any increase in fuel price. But shortly after signing into law, they went ahead to increase the fuel price to almost 1,000 and above, until when the pressure of market forces are now reducing it to 900 whatever. So in the process, so many things got skyrocketed to the extent that workers now find it difficult to live a reasonable life. And for now, you know, everybody can tell you You can't face the home front by way of responsibility to our family, to our relatives, and to our dependents.
It is not more a soothsaying to say that Nigerian workers are going through a lot. Because if you look at it, even the current minimum wage is just 70,000 compared to the price of bag of rice, which is about 100,000 plus. So a Nigerian worker is going through a lot, because if you have children, where will you even start? Is it the house rent? Is it the school fees? Is it the daily household expenses? You don't even know where to start, even with the 70,000. But the 70,000, as we are talking today, is not even realistic. Some states are not even paying. So even if they pay, it has nowhere to go. So Nigerian workers have a lot of challenges that we don't even know, we can't imagine how to start. The government need to sit up, the government need to look at the Nigerian workers, because we are the bedrock, we are the economy of the country. If a Nigerian worker is not at peace, is not happy, the economy would for sure grounded. So we need the government to be proactive. Let the government stand on its feet to do what is right, so that Nigeria will be better again.
Well, I'm not satisfied, because the difference I saw in my salary is nothing to write home about. So actually I'm not satisfied, and I'm sure most of the workers are not satisfied with the minimum wage. They said 70%, and we are not seeing anything in the salary. But in the deduction, you will see all the deduction is as that 70%, but the salary is not 70%. So we want the government to help us to look into it and fix the salary matter properly. My advice to workers is for them to advance themselves, to learn new technologies, to learn and improve on their work, to learn new ways of doing things to achieve their aim and objective of their organizations. That's for workers. For the government should look into workers' salaries and workers' needs. And the government should see how what the workers are passing through because of this hard time.
As we have said earlier, we are going to talk to people and also talk to workers on the significance and also the challenges being faced by Nigerian workers. And we have heard from some of the workers how they explained the various challenges and what they want government to do for them. My name is Alamin Ibrahim, PNB TV.